Are you ready, my beautiful brothers and sisters, my fellow radiators of love? Are you ready to go fish-tard? Are you ready to step into your magical, badass self? I don't know if you're ready. Yahoo! Yahoo! Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love. I am Jay Phoenix, and this is Astrofenixx, and today we are going to be talking about Mars shifting into Pisces, the two fish, the last sign of the zodiac. Mars is here. It'll be here for the remaining of the year. It will shift into Aries New Year's Eve into New Year's Day. So we will literally be beginning the new year off with Mars coming back into its home sign. But until then, Mars is going to be chilling, chillaxing in the sign of Pisces. Now I probably look a little ridiculous right now. I have two hats on. This is a hat from Aruba that my dad brought back. This is, of course, my Philadelphia Eagles hat. Fly, Eagles, fly all day long. Santa Claus hat. Yes, 3 necklaces on. Finn and Jake riding on top of the cat. And, of course, we got Vaporeon up in his house. So I know I look a little crazy, but this is kind of the vibration of how where things are going right now, right? At the same time, though, I really like what I have set up here. I have some nice music in the background, which I actually will be playing a clip of this at the end of the video. Got the incense going, the salt lamp going, but I also have got a little bit of Yingling here. I honestly don't even drink beer that often, but every now and again, it's cool, and I don't mind it. This is going to be a time where really knowing yourself, believing in yourself, and standing in your own power, regardless of how crazy it may seem, is actually going to bring you magic. Standing in your power, no matter how weird it may seem, is actually going to have you stand in your own power. And this is ironic because this is carrying with it a bit of that Aquarian vibe. And naturally, right, Mars has just left Aquarius. So it's at 0 degrees of Pisces right now. Excuse me. So, of course, there's still a bit of that Aquarian vibe. Mars was in Aquarius and Capricorn for most of the year. We have to consider that, beloved. Mars went into Aquarius, retrograded back into Capricorn, came back into Aquarius, exited the shadow phase, and then was blazing forward. But then, of course, made squares to Venus, made aspects to the Scorpio energy. And now it is in the sign of Pisces. This entire month has been an incredible transformation, an incredible transition, and really, you can't even talk about this month. You really can't talk about these transits without talking about the transits that are around it, right? What else has happened? The nodes have shifted. Now we have the North Node in Cancer and we have the South Node in Capricorn. Uranus has shifted back into Aries. So we have this square going on between Uranus and the nodes. Of course, like I said, Venus will be coming out of its retrograde tomorrow afternoon. And then guess what? Mercury goes retrograde. Mercury goes retrograde. There's going to be like a 2 to 3 hour window between Venus coming direct, coming online, and Mercury going retrograde. And you know what's interesting about this Mercury retrograde? It's happening while it is squaring Neptune, which is in Pisces, its home sign. arguably, Neptune is probably the strongest planet right now. Arguably. Even though it's, it's not that far into Pisces. And yes, Saturn is in Capricorn, its own sign, but it's also in shadow. And it also has to deal with Pluto, right? And now it has to deal with the South Node. And yes, Jupiter has come home into Sagittarius. But it has to meet up with Mercury, which will be retrograding on top of Jupiter and the Sun by the time that the Sun exits Scorpio. Uranus is in Aries, It'd rather be in Aquarius. It'd rather be in Scorpio. It went into Taurus, which it doesn't like to be in Taurus, but it's having us re-innovate our self-worth and our self-value. I like to think, and I've been saying it multiple times on this channel, that Uranus coming into Taurus is the sky god renewing their vow. The sky god and Gaia renewing their vows. It's Uranus and Gaia renewing their vows. That is what Uranus coming into Taurus is. And we can, where are the other planets? So, yeah, like I said, Pluto, it's in Capricorn, which it likes to be in Capricorn, right? But it's having to destroy things and everything, so that's been crazy, of course. Like I said, Mercury is going into a retrograde, and it's in Sagittarius, which it doesn't like to be in Sagittarius, right? It'll prefer to be in Gemini. So it actually is, it's in its fall position while it's in Sagittarius, right? As we speak right now, the moon, finishing up in Aquarius, will be coming into Pisces, coming on top of this Mars too. So emotionally, even though we are moving from a more detached place to a more worldly place where we could tap into these senses, whenever the moon comes into Pisces, everyone becomes super psychic. And now, we're going to become super psychic, and Mars is going to be there, our initiation action energy. Now here's the thing about this transit though. It's not that Mars doesn't like Pisces. It would prefer not to be there, though. It would prefer not to be there. Why? Because Mars has to get things done and initiate and move forward. With Pisces, it's easier to slack off. With Pisces, it's easier to become a dreamer. This is going to be the time of the dreamers, right? The imagination. What is possible? Do you believe in the power of your imagination? Are you going to be having fun like Finn and Jake here, riding on top of this cat through the cosmos? I look pretty silly right now. But I'm really enjoying this, honestly. And, I actually did take some notes for this too, as far as what's going to be happening and stuff like that. And of course, there's some very obvious things that are going to be happening. We have Mars, which is going to square off to Jupiter at 2 degrees. This is going to happen next week on the 19th. That's pretty huge. It's going to square Mercury retrograde at 6 degrees on the 26th. It'll square the Sun, conjunct Neptune, etc. We can get to that stuff later. But right now, I want to focus on the transition. The transition, right? The frequency of transition supports our deep understanding of the ever-changing nature of existence and our lives so that we can learn to let go, surrender to the process, and allow transition to occur with ease and grace. What's interesting thing about this transition right now, Scorpio is a transition. It's a transformation period. What's interesting is how Mars was squaring this energy. Now Mars is going to be trining this energy, which means that it's going to bring about a gift and a miracle. Something new is going to be born now from this trining energy. Not only that, but Mars is a co-ruler of Scorpio. This is going to be a time where you are going to become infected by your dreams. You're going to become infected by your imagination. Do you want to cure yourself of this infection, though? That's an interesting way of looking at it. Do you want to cure yourself of this infection? Of your dreams, these deeper desires and wants? Your connection to spirit. Because that's what Pisces is. It's your own connection to spirit in many ways. right? Pisces rules the feet. And if we think about this Aries, Mars action energy, it's going to be really important. I'm telling you, all of the actions that you take over the next 40 days while Mars is here, about 40 to 44 days or so. 44. I'm pretty sure it actually is 44 days because we have, let's see, what, 15th. Yeah, we have the rest of November, so that's about 15 or so days. Plus, yeah, so it's going to be about 44 to 45 days that Mars is going to be here. 44, match the number 44, angel number 44. Do you believe in angels yet? You are being guided, my beautiful brothers and sisters. So much right now. We are going through a major transformational period. Believe it or not, Mars coming in at Pisces is actually going to give us a bit of a break. It's actually going to make the holidays feel even more like the holidays. I've been saying this for a while, that the holidays this year are actually going to feel like the holidays. Mainly because Jupiter is coming home. The good thing is that it's good that this retrograde is coming now, this Mercury retrograde. Because by the time the holidays start to roll around, especially like Christmas, whatever like that, Mercury will be coming forward. I think Venus will actually be out of shadow too. I have to look that up. So, I'm going to go back to a point that I made earlier, but I didn't really continue it, about how Pisces is ruling the feet, and how Mars is now going to be in this house, in this space. It's actually going to set fire to your feet. Isn't there a group of angels where their feet have wings and they're made of fire? I should know that. But I'm kind of getting that feel. I'm getting the feel of there being wings at your feet that are just ablaze in fire, ready to just pounce forward into your dream, into your destiny, into that which you want to bring forward from your imagination. Everything was imagination. This phone that I am making this video on was imagination. The tripod that my phone is sitting upon, the desk, the light was imagination. But it seems to have some physical reality to it. But the crazy thing about Pisces energy too is that it rules delusions. So with these delusions, we can fool ourselves, right? How far is too far? That's an interesting fucking question. How far is too far? Especially with this energy trining Scorpio. This weekend's going to be a lit weekend. It's going to be a very lit weekend. Why? Venus is out of retrograde, so people are going to be feeling the love again. So that's good. Mercury will be going retrograde, yeah. But this is actually a good thing because now this is having everybody, since it's in the sign of Sagittarius, everyone's going to be rethinking their belief structure. So this is actually going to have people not be as rigid in their belief structures. You're going to see certain people over this weekend, and over the next 3 weeks too, but you're going to see people over this weekend do things that they said they would never do. Some people that may be the most, I'm going to say it, may be the most misogynistic, racist, whatever, but not even just that. People are just going to be doing things and even saying things that they never thought they would say. Hanging out with people that they never thought they would hang out with. People are going to find themselves in situations that they did not expect. Mercury's squaring Neptune, guys. Yeah. At the moment that Mercury comes retrograde, at the moment that Mars comes into Pisces, Mercury is going to be squaring Neptune, the planet of dreams, delusions, illusions. Neptune is one of the biggest trolls in the zodiac, too. Neptune will guide you down a path for years, only to show you why you thought you wanted it. Yeah. Neptune's a great teacher. And now that Mars is in this space and we'll be meeting up with Neptune in a few weeks, our actions are really guided right now. All actions that happen for the rest of the year are divinely guided by Source, no matter what happens. And I know a lot of people don't want to really believe that because we may perceive things as good or bad. We have to understand this is Pisces energy. This isn't Capricorn energy. Yes, we have a lot of Capricorn energy. Yes, we have the South Node here. Yes, we have Pluto here. Yes, we have Saturn here. But as far as this focal point of Mars and our initiation action energy, anything that happens right now and is initiated during this period is divinely guided by God, Goddess, Source perspective. Every single action, every single initiation, that includes the good and that includes the bad. And this moment will challenge you in your beliefs and whether or not you feel at one with the good and the bad. This video is not what I thought it was going to be, but that's exactly how I wanted it to be. I wanted it to go with the flow. And this is Scorpio season. Fixed water. So this is talking about wanting to have some type of control over our emotions, setting boundaries, setting limits, working through trust issues within ourselves, with other people. And of course, like I said, with Venus coming out of this retrograde, there's definitely relationship issues right now. Absolutely. But now it's interesting how the Mars energy is actually going to be King Conjunct the Libra energy. Now that's in Pisces. And when you think about the relationship between Pisces and Libra, it's kind of interesting because if you think of Pisces energy as like this sort of divine energy, in many ways you could say it's God, Spirit, and Source. And then of course you have Libra, which are the angels. The relationship between God and the angels, it's something that we're still trying to figure out that dynamic. Still haven't quite figured it out, right? It's the awkward stare from across the room. But I think what it's going to teach us is how this time right now is going to teach us the power that comes from not outsourcing our power and connection to Spirit and Source. Far too many people in this world outsource their power. Far too many people forget that they are the magician, that they are the love warrior, that they are the change that they seek in the world. You got to think that Pisces, being the last sign of the zodiac, has elements of every other sign that came before it. So it's a very worldly sign. So with Mars going to Pisces, you're going to see very worldly events happen right now. You're going to see a lot of action within the world right now. We're going to be zapped out of our own countries, which you could think of as this Aquarius energy where, while yes, it does rule society and people, but it also is about, these different groups and these different collectives. But now that Mars is going into Pisces, as far as an action initiation energy, we're going to be more focused on the world, the collective, not only humanity, but the animal kingdom, plants, rocks, right? The waves, the ocean. Think about Pisces, mutable water. It's the waves. You gotta imagine right here. This right now you see, right here, there is an ocean right here. Did you see the turtle that just swam past me? Can you see the trilobite just swam past me over here? Do you even know what a trilobite is? Vaporeon's a water type Pokemon. Can you see the Gyarados behind me right now? We be chilling over here. I got Psyduck over here as well. This might sound all weird and crazy to you. Some of you may be like, oh my gosh, Jay Phoenix, kind of gone off the deep end. This is Scorpio season. You're supposed to go off the deep end. Woo! You are supposed to go off the deep end. Real talk, this Mars in Pisces is actually really going to have us, like I said, recalibrated back to our dreams. And we're going to be given this opportunity, and we have a really big decision to make on whether or not we are going to act on these dreams. Because I'm telling you, the new year is actually going to feel like the new year. Yes, the new year technically doesn't begin astrologically until the sun hits Aries. But how amazing and beautiful and perfect it is that the ruler of Aries, Mars, comes in to Aries on January 1st of 2019. How perfect is that? That even our calendar, which is not even in sync with the astrological calendar for this year, happens to be, in an interesting way, if you alter your perception, in sync with it. Do you believe in magic? Do you believe in magic? In the young Leo's heart. That's the song I sing to my cat when I pick him up. And then he gets mad. He's like, "Aah!" And then I give him treats. I'm having fun with this. Are you having fun right now? Because Jupiter Sagittarius wants you to have fun. Yes, there are obstacles. Yes, there are things that we have to overcome. Yes, there are challenges. Yes, there are old structures that need to crash. But this is actually a time to have fun. Mars in Pisces is interesting because Mars actually goes into a bit of a rest period. There's a danger to Mars in Pisces. The danger to Mars in Pisces is that while you're going to be feeling more imaginative, the danger is that you may not act on your imagination. This is the kind of energy where, yeah, you could be sitting under the tree becoming enlightened. But are you going to do anything with that information? Especially now in today's world. Especially now that the South Node has left Aquarius and is moving into Capricorn. Especially now that the North Node has left Leo and it's gone into Cancer. Especially that we have Venus in Libra too. We got to think of all the energies that are around this. There's nothing wrong with having time to get lost in your imagination and your dreams. But if you get too lost, in this area, you will never bring these to fruition. But this time, this next 44 to 45 days is going to offer us a very unique opportunity to step into our super magical badass selves and actually personify it. The personification of our higher selves. Pisces is a very high vibration. That's why most people don't fucking get it. This is why most Pisces, when you come into this world, if your sun is in Pisces, if you have a Pisces moon or ascendant, you kind of feel into this. But especially if you are a sun in Pisces, you are really like a spectator. Because you come from another dimension, another world that's so advanced and so far. You literally come in here and it's like a movie to you. You're watching a movie. And for the next 44 to 45 days, everybody is going to get a taste of what Sun and Pisces people feel. And we're going to be actually acting this out. So, unconsciously and consciously. Everybody, unconsciously and consciously, actually. Some people mostly unconsciously. But if you can do it consciously, take the time to... You have to understand those, especially with Mars as being initiation, action, energy, and how this actually creates the momentum. With it being in Pisces, meditation is going to become super powerful right now. If you've been wanting to establish a meditation practice, like a daily meditation practice, now is the time to do it. Now is the time to do it. If you want to get into yoga, if you want to get into anything like that, now is the time to do it. Now, there's no time at the present. You could have done this 6 months ago. You can do this 6 months from now in the future. knows how to like the present. But seriously, take advantage of this moment, my beautiful brothers and sisters, because I don't think you're ready. Do you believe you are the digi-destined? Because that's what Mars in Aquarius was. That was the digi-destined. For those of you who don't speak nerd talk, I'm talking about Digimon. And how the digi-destined were these kids all around the world, mind you. And that's the cool thing about it, because it showed it later on in the show. How at the beginning it was only like 6 or 7 of them, right? Lucky number 7. Ha ha ha. Lucky number 7. Ah. Pisces energy. If you follow step astrology. But they were all over the world. Spoke different languages, but then they were able to actually unite and defeat a common enemy. Devimon, right? Or Devimon, whatever. They defeated him. Then you went on to the next series. But then, interesting enough, by the 3rd season, you realized, or at least the way that they set it up, that the first 2 seasons of Digimon was actually a TV show. Now, it's already a TV show, but within the TV show, on the 3rd season of the Digimon franchise, it made the first 2 seasons a TV show, which is very Piscean. So what's happening right now is that essentially we're stepping into the 3rd season of Digimon, and shit's about to get real, but we're thinking we're still in the Digi world. You gotta think about this. What's opposite Pisces? Virgo energy. Whenever the moon goes into Virgo, over the next month or so, which I think it probably will hit Virgo at least twice, or very close to twice. You're going to see how real this magic is. You're going to see how real this magic is whenever the moon comes into Virgo and opposes this Martian energy. It's already been opposing Neptune. But now that Mars is here, whew. I know this video is a little bit all over the place and stuff like that. I do hope that it helps you all. I'm doing it like this purposefully, but I'm also kind of just going with the flow of things to really illustrate to you all this magical moment. And how we really are stepping into our magical badass selves. And yes, there's a bit of this Aquarian energy that this Mars is carrying with it. Why? The South Node was there. So yes, there are fears and worries and doubts about what other people are going to think. Oh, what is so-and-so going to think? We all have all these voices chatting around. And how we aren't even our thoughts, but then we have the thoughts of other people and they're trying to dictate what we're going to do. And now that's coming to Pisces. Are we going to outsource our power to these individuals? Are we going to allow them ransack our power? Or are we going to embrace our spiritual badass self? I know. Alright, I'm not going to hold it back. I'm not going to not say it. We have so many teachers and gurus, and it's great, and they're always going to come up and stuff. But since we are shifting from this age of Pisces to this age of Aquarius energy, which means that the everyday Joe is actually going to become the guru, which is going to kind of eliminate the role of the guru in many ways. There are certain gurus that have been followed that these gurus don't really want to be followed like that anymore. Jesus is one that really comes to mind. Now, me personally, I work with Jesus when I need to and when I don't need to. But he's not one of my primary guides that I go to. But every so now and then I will, engage with Jesus. But I will say this, just kind of channeling it in. I mean, of course, you see a lot of the Pisces symbolism with Jesus. And of course, people don't really know about that. You wonder why we had the 2 fish. How he was able to walk on water. It's kind of crazy how people don't really think about that. They don't even know the symbology of how Jesus comes from Pisces and stuff like that. But now that Mars is in Pisces, we're going to start to personify this. interesting enough, Jesus is ready to go on to the next stage. So many people are pleading to this being to save them, pleading to this dude to save them. Jesus is doing everything he can, but Jesus is ready to go to the next level, y'all. Jesus is ready to experience. But honestly, a lot of these prayers that he's having to answer, she, it's actually becoming a bit of an anchor for him. He hasn't been able to fly like he wants to. And I'm not saying that might seem crazy and stuff like that. I'm not saying don't connect with Jesus or Buddha or Krishna or whoever you connect with, but just don't forget your own connection. Do not forget your own connection, because you got to think about this. Mars energy, right? We one thing if this was Mercury, it may make a little bit more sense to emulate. But this is Mars. Mars is raw, authentic, the initiator. This is going to be a time where it's actually going to be, that's the interesting thing about this holiday. It's going to feel more like the holidays, but people are actually going to have more difficulty connecting with Jesus. Why? Because their higher self and their higher authentic self is going to be wanting to connect with them. And it's actually going to be getting a little bit more in the way. So people are going to be trying to connect to Jesus or Buddha or Krishna, but it's going to be harder to connect with them. Believe it or not. Because their higher self is like, hey, I'm here. Hello? I have so much knowledge and love and wisdom to give to you. I'm not saying that Jesus doesn't have any answers. I'm not saying that Krishna doesn't have any answers. I'm not saying that. I believe that there are truths in all walks of faith. I believe that there are truths in all religions. But this is an important time, because by taking your own path, blazing your own way forward, that's really going to reveal to you the magic. How the magic never left. The magic was always here. It was always here. It was always here. Jesus is not necessarily someone who you just want to follow and follow and follow. I'm pretty sure if Jesus was here right now, he would encourage people to only follow him for short durations of time and then go off on their own journey. But so many people would just try and follow this guy forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. They used to be like, why are you following me, nigga? Now, some of y'all might think this is really blasphemous and sacrilegious, right? Some of y'all might think I'm going to hell for this. Whatever. The sun is in Scorpio right now. We are in the underworld. My sun is in Scorpio, conjunct Mars and Pluto in the 12th house. Yeah, I've been there. And it's not what people have advertised it as, by the way. Same goes for heaven. Not knocking either of them. Just saying, they're not as advertised. Blaze your own path forward. And don't be afraid to be you. Don't be afraid to be unique and different. Because like I said, this Mars is carrying with it that Aquarius energy pretty heavily into this Pisces transit. Because like I said, the nodes were there. And there were some really important, of course, aspects that Mars made while it was in Aquarius. I will be making, of course, weekly videos. I'll be talking about where Mars is and stuff like that. And of course, like I said, it's important to know where the moon is going to be when Mars is making some of these aspects. Let's just go ahead and just read you all some of my notes here. So, First major aspect, of course, we do have Mars, which is going to square off with Jupiter. This is going to be on the 19th. And it's going to be at 2 degrees. The moon at that point will actually be at 17 degrees of Aries. So it's kind of interesting how we had this square. So it's going to be like we're going to be wanting to act a certain ways, but then the way that we act might not necessarily line up with our beliefs, right? And where we're going. Probably because our beliefs are changing because Mercury is retrograde. But with the moon being at 17 degrees of Aries, this is definitely going to bring about some a little bit of angst, a little bit of like restlessness. Like, oh, I got to get this done. I got to do this. I got to do this, right? People might jump off into a journey, into a direction that they think is good for them. But are they falling for a delusion? Are they getting trolled heavily? Neptune is the biggest troll. When Mars squares Mercury retrograde at 6 degrees on the 26th of November, the moon will be in the cardinal sign of Cancer. So this is actually going to bring up this challenge of course, how do our actions reflect our beliefs and reflect this deeper spiritual nature? And with the moon being in Cancer, do we feel comfortable about it? Do we feel secure by this? Do we feel at home with this? With these actions that we are taking, with these beliefs that we are embodying and acting upon? Do we feel at home by doing this? I'll come up to questions. Mars will sextile Saturn the next day. The moon will be at 7 degrees of Leo. So this is nice because the sextile is going to bring, of course, Mars and Saturn will be kind of having sex in a sense, right? And with the moon being in Leo, this is definitely going to bring about this creative energy, this creative spark where it's like, yes, we have challenges and things that we have to overcome. And yes, this is going to be a great moment, the 27th, to where acting on your dreams is really going to, you're going to feel more of a desire, need, a want to act on your dreams. It's going to bring about a bit more of a creative spark, especially with that moon in Leo. It's going to bring about a little bit more creativity. The Mars will square the Sun at 10 degrees on December 2nd. The moon will be at 19 degrees of Libra, and this is also during a grand water trine. So, with this square here, the Sun being in Sagittarius, so we're going to be, of course, more focused on our beliefs, travel, partying it up, maybe even, because Sagittarius is about partying in many ways. But with Moon at 19 degrees of Libra, we have to really see if the way that we are acting on our beliefs, does it work with other people? Does it work with certain groups of people, with certain relationships? With this grand water trine, there's definitely some healing going on here, some emotional healing, but does it really mesh with certain individuals? But then, of course, we have the big one, right? Mars conjunct Neptune at 13 degrees on December 7th. The moon will be at 18 degrees of Sagittarius. So, earlier, it will actually be squaring, the moon will actually be squaring Mars and Neptune conjunct. The moon will be squaring it. This is during a grand water trine. Mercury will be going direct, and that's also the time of the new moon in Sagittarius. So that Mars conjunct Neptune, which we'll probably talk a little bit more about later, is really, really critical, really important. Because it's going to be sort of this recalibration, really, where, our initiation action energy, and in many ways, our ego is going to meet up with Neptune, right? When these things meet, there's going to be some humbling going on right now. There's going to be some humbling going on right now, in that moment, because that moment is now. But there's going to be some humbling moments. In a good way, though. Because I think we're going to really begin to realize that that's going to be the moment where we realize that we are infected with this dream. We are really infected with this dream to express ourselves in this very creative way. Pisces is a very creative sign, very artistic sign. So when Mars meets up with Neptune, It's going to be you're going to put you in a very creative mood, dancing, wanting to do art, or getting into music and stuff. And of course, like I said, during the time of a new moon, this is a huge new beginning. New spiritual journey? A new spiritual purpose? Who knows? You can't really put Pisces in a box. It's impossible. You especially can't put Mars in Pisces in a box. That's impossible. The moon will sextile Pluto at 20 degrees on December 17th. The moon will be at 15 degrees of Aries. So this kind of will remind us of when Mars squares Jupiter, when Mars sextiles Pluto. It's going to kind of remind us of that energy. But what's different with this energy is how we're going to realize how certain actions need to be transformed. Certain actions need to be transformed to reflect a higher spiritual nature. Then, of course, Mars will trine the North Node and sextile the South Node at 26 degrees on December 27th. The Moon will be at 10 degrees of Virgo. Now, the reason why I bring up the Moon is because it's important to know where the Moon is. Because if you think about Aries as this action energy, really it's all cardinal signs. But if you think of Aries as action energy, it's important to know where the Moon is because that's reaction. And really, a lot of our lives, a lot of who we are, is based off of reaction. Right? So it's important to know where the Moon is because that's going to be talking about how you're going to be reacting. So when the Moon makes its aspect to the nodes, when the Mars makes its aspect to the nodes on December 27th, the Moon, like I said, will be in Virgo at 10 degrees. So we actually going to be manifesting something right here. And the Moon being in Virgo is going to make things very, very real. So it's going to make this whole energy with the nodes very, very real. Trine is going to bring about a great, deeper spiritual healing. The sextile to the South Node is actually going to bring about a synthesis of the transforming structure of our society and what is really to come. And even though it's actually going to allow us to tap into our imagination and actually allow our imagination to kind of sync up so that we maybe actually bring this into fruition more. Right? Did I write anything else down? Of course, Mars will conjunct Chiron at 28 degrees on the 29th. The Moon will be in Libra at 5 degrees. So that's going to be an important one. That's going to be an important day of forgiveness. Important day of forgiveness, forgiving yourself, forgiving others, forgiving your guides, forgiving God. A lot of people don't like to talk about that, forgiving their guides and forgiving God. Because sometimes, especially if you find yourself on this spiritual path, you wonder why, if you say that you have guides, and you say you have spiritual guides and stuff like that, it's almost like you feel like, oh, I'm always protected and nothing bad can happen to me. But things happen, right? Bad things happen, right? And then we wonder why these things happen to us if we're guided, if we're protected. Why would these things continue to happen? But it's all for our growth and expansion, and our learning and wisdom. But this Mars and Pisces energy is also going to be kind of telling us why are we taking things so damn seriously? This isn't Capricorn energy. This isn't Virgo energy. It's Pisces energy. So why so serious? Now get serious about your imagination. Get serious about your magic and your truth, but have fun with it. Don't be so serious about it. You'll be alright. Let's draw some cards for this, huh? This is just going to be a general reading for the collective. First card that flips up, we have the Nine of Wands. So definitely the preparation of something to come. I think what we're preparing for is the new year. This whole Mars and Pisces transit is preparing for the new year. Preparing for 2019, which is going to be insane. Going to be insane. Incredible. You thought 2018 was crazy. 2019 is really going to separate the people who really believe in themselves and believe in magic from the people who don't. It's going to make that separation a lot more clear, a lot more obvious. So this Nine of Pentacles is talking about, ooh, that card kind of wanted to come out. It's going to be talking about preparing for the new year. Oh, we have the Death card, the card of Scorpio. Phoenix Rising transformation. So we definitely are preparing for a transformation. Definitely are. I think this transformation will become more apparent when Venus comes out of its retrograde. This card just fell onto the floor. We have the High Priestess. The High Priestess is a being that exists within every single one of us. Denizen that sits between this realm and the spirit realm. The bridge. And since this exists within all of us, it means that you do not have to go outside of yourself to connect to the spirit realm. There's nothing wrong with connecting with certain beings and certain energies and guides. They're here to help us. And we are here to help them too. That's the thing about this. It's not just our guides helping us and our angels helping us. It's us helping them as well. Because we have to think that if we are ascending to another level, another consciousness, they are ascending as well. Right? If we're going from 3 to 4D to 5D, they're going from 6 to 7 to 8 to 9D. They're raising too. They need our help just as much as we need their help. Seems weird, right? But it's true. Let's see what else we got here. We have the Eight of Pentacles, so there's definitely going to be some hard work. So yes, we all have a dream, and it does take hard work to bring to fruition. Nothing is built overnight. Nothing is built overnight. Except for a spider web. But think about how much time it takes for that spider to build that web. Because they say that a spider builds a new web every day. And yes, that's something that actually is built overnight. It's interesting how in this deck, the Eight of Pentacles, which talks about hard work over time and it being paid off and how you're kind of like in the lab working on your craft. It's interesting how the spider, which is also a totem animal of Sagittarius, mind you, and Jupiter, ruler of Sagittarius, is a traditional ruler of Pisces. Just letting you know. That yes, maybe your dream actually can be built overnight. Maybe it actually can be built overnight. Are you willing to put in that hard work and effort, though, to build it? Overnight celebrity. But that's not going to happen unless you're feeling this way. We have the Five of Pentacles. So yeah, there's definitely some feeling of lack that we can't build this thing overnight. That we are told that it's impossible to build this overnight. Do you believe in miracles? I've experienced miracles. I have seen miracles. So I know I believe in them. And while there are some times where I do feel like my belief in miracles is challenged, we have the King of Pentacles and the Two of Cups. That's a miracle in and of itself. Look at that. Beautiful emotional connection, soulmate, twin flame connection. Then we have the King of Pentacles. He knows his worth. He's connected, grounded. He doesn't need anybody else to get connected to the earth, to get connected to Source. He has it by himself. He has it on his own. But he's able to provide for all of the other beings around him. That's how strong the king is in his conviction. And the Two of Cups, because it's that he loves himself. He loves himself. Love yourself, beloved. Radiate that love. That's how you attract that partner, that job, that house, that car, that experience, that travel, whatever it is. Love yourself. That's how you'll find it. We also have the card of the Empress. Like I said, this is going to be a very powerful time to connect to nature. A very, very powerful time to meditate. I'm going to draw one more card. We have the Eight of Wands. It's about to move fast. It's about to move forward. The rest of this year is going to fly by. It really is. I also have the Knight of Cups right here. The Knight of Cups. So that's definitely going to put a romantic spin on things, going for the Holy Grail. And then bottom of the deck, this card has been coming up a lot, not just for me, but for other people. I've seen other readings, the Eight of Cups. So we are leaving behind a chase. We're leaving behind one of these chases, this Knight of Cups, going for the Holy Grail, by going for something that we thought we wanted. It's falling for a delusion, right? We're leaving behind a chase. But we're picking up another one. Now, this chase that we're picking up, is it truly resonant with our higher calling? This will be determined. This is to be determined, TBD, as time goes on. The way that you will know is by taking time for yourself to be silent, to just be. The way that you know is to blare fucking music, amazing music, beautiful music, resonant music, and dancing your ass off. I know that seems diametrically opposed. To be silent and to listen to music. The way that you know what delusion to go for and what delusion to not go for, because not all delusions are bad. No delusions are bad. They're just lessons. But we are dropping one chase and going for another. I'm going to draw one more card, but this is going to be from my Sacred Traveler Oracle deck. We have Joy and Delight. I love this card. It's a beautiful angel right here. Open your heart to joy. I promise you, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love, if you open your heart to joy during this Mars and Pisces transit and you act from that space, there is nothing that you can't accomplish. That is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And if you would like a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link to the description below too. And renamed to astrofenixx.com actually. So I'm like changing all of my names and changing everything over and stuff like that. So but yes, utilizes Mars and Pisces energy. I'm sure I'll make another video about this. I'm probably going to do the weekly video tomorrow night, where I'm going to, of course, talk a little bit more about this transit. I'll talk about Mercury retrograde. I'll talk about Venus going direct, and I'll talk about the energies coming up this week. It's going to be an interesting week, too. Thanksgiving week. And, of course, just take time to radiate love and send energy out to everybody in need. And to just smile, give a hug if you can, and send healing energy to people in the world that need it. That'll be really honestly, the power of prayer is actually going to become very powerful right now and stuff. And I don't even necessarily like the word prayer, but just really that act of just setting the intention to send healing energy to another part of the world and to other people that really need it. That action is going to become supercharged during this time. So utilize it. Thank you, my brothers and sisters. I'll see y'all later. And always remember, my beautiful brothers and sisters, y'all thought I forgot about this. Almost did. To keep moving forward. To stay focused and Yahoo! Smile often.